The International Table Soccer Federation and Kazoom Productions are presenting the 2013 ITSF World Cup of Table Soccer. I'm Jim Stevens, along with British pro player and promoter Ben Mason, coming to you live from Nantes, France. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, table soccer is a sport played by players all around the world in tournaments, leagues, and elite competitions like this one here, the World Cup. And boy, do we have a great matchup here. The USA and France have just survived a very difficult bracket to reach the finals. France, of course, beat a tough Belgium team in their semifinal match. The United States of America really dominated Luxembourg on their side of the bracket. The two best teams in the world, the best players in the world, battling for the 2013 World Cup title.
We're in for a real treat here, Jim.
We really are, and you can see there the lineups. Leading off for France will be Miguel dos Santos, their great young player, going up against a former world champion, Ryan Moore. Tom Yor and Evan Stachlik will play for the United States in round two against Gaël Lagrange and Julien Lebec. Adel Yousfi of France against the great American Tony Spraderman. It'll be Mahrez and Moore. That's Robert Mahrez and Ezekiel Iceman Moore, Sebastian Zapater, Hervé dos Santos, and then if it does go to a final fifth match, it's David Vick, the great senior American, against Sebastian Mekis. And what a match this should be. This is sort of the dream matchup that everyone in the world of table soccer has been looking forward to for many years. The United States has won 3 of the last 4 World Cup titles. France appearing in their first final and looking for their first title.
Yeah, at the start of the week, we were asked by countless people who we thought the final would be, and you and I both said America-France, and we both wanted America-France. The two best teams, in my opinion, multi-table in the world today, are the Americans, are the French. So we're in for a real treat. But more than that, the French and the Americans have both sent out their 2 power forwards in this first game. Ryan Moore versus Miguel dos Santos. What a first match.
It really is, and we will explain to you, for those of you who are not familiar with the sport, we'll explain to you the format, the rules as we go along here. This match has the possibility of going perhaps for an hour and a half or 2 hours long. It is made up of 5 individual matches, and Miguel dos Santos able to angle that one into the goal. It's 1-0 in favor of the Frenchman. You get 5 individual matches, as we displayed for you early on. Here you see Ryan Moore trying to pass, blocked, and then stabbed in by dos Santos. Each match of the 5 consists of the best of 3 games played to 5 goals. You alternate tables, and we'll talk more about the multi-table format as we go along as well. We're starting off here on the French-style table. It's the Bonzini. It's really the table in France. It's the most popular table in that country. We'll go over to the Fireball table, which is the United States home table. There are 5 different official tables on the ITSF Tour. These are 2 of them. You also have the Roberto Sport, the Leonhardt, and of course the Garlando as well. But we're playing on these 2 tables here because these are the ones that each country has selected as their home table. And usually you're going to have the advantage on your home table. You see Miguel dos Santos already leading 1-0, but the American Ryan Moore ties it up at 1. He has the option to go straight. He can go down the middle, or he can go to the long side of the goal. Goes to the straight hole here, Mace.
Yeah, you see Ryan Moore shooting a traditional American pull shot, and you'll see Miguel dos Santos, he'll shoot a European-style front pin. Again, Miguel's got the same options as Ryan, but he's got a straight from the middle of the goal, and he's got 2 longs, one to the far side, one to the near side. So 2 very different shots. And
definitely 2 traditional shots in each of those countries. The pin shot, basically you are pinning the ball between the foot of the man and the surface of the table, as you saw, and as you see here. And the Bonzini table very conducive to that style of play. Ryan Moore, as we'll see here, will set it up kind of on the far side of the goal. And then he has options, much like a pitcher in baseball, a fastball, a curveball, a changeup. Here he can go straight, he can go middle, or he can go long, and he goes down in the middle here. And Ryan Moore has surged ahead 2-1 on the French home table here in game number 1.
And the beauty of the pull shot is you've got 2 options, and here you see a rolling pull. The ball wasn't quite stationary, it wasn't in what we call a set, and as a result Ryan could hit that on the run.
Here's dos Santos. And more over the last few years, we've seen players become multi-table experts. Initially, when the ITSF was first formed 10 years ago, there were regionalized players and tours on tables from all different parts of the world, and players in those regions really specialized only in playing on their home table, as we see dos Santos tie it up with this angling effort.
They certainly did. And the French, they've been led into the world of multi-table by Miguel dos Santos' father, Hervé dos Santos, who will be playing in the fourth match, the second doubles. And he really took the French team into the new multi-table era.
And you saw that shot attempt by Ryan working all the way back around the table and into his own goal. Watch here. It's actually a pass off one wall, knocked off the inner wall and in by Dos Santos. Good hustle play by Miguel, and he's back on top, 3-2. I'd like to say hello to everyone watching in the United States live on ESPN3. Welcome to the world of table soccer. And yes, it is not that usual tavern game that we all have played in college or down at the local pub. This is professional table soccer. You rely on tremendous hand speed, of course, great ball handling ability. And these players really can put that ball pretty much anywhere they want to.
There are two types of game as well. There's a finesse game, which you're going to see from Miguel dos Santos. It's slightly more gentle. It's still fast, it's still quick. And then there's a power game, which Ryan Moore plays at every opportunity. Ryan's looking to play an aggressive shot, put it on goal. Even when he passes with a certain sense of firmness that is in a different style from Ryan's game to Miguel's.
That pass attempt again off the back wall by Dos Santos. He's picked up a few of those. And again, we talk about passing. That's basically what you do in the midfield with your 5-rod. And you shoot with a 3-rod. Dos Santos able to shoot to that far corner. And he's up by 2 here in this first game on his home table.
But Jim, I would feel that Miguel dos Santos is in the top 3 for Bonzini players in the world. So you would expect him to win that first leg, this first game.
You would also expect the French team itself to be very strong on their home table. Very difficult to beat. These are, in essence, Bonzini specialists who can also play other tables. Of course, Ryan Moore and the American team will be stronger on theirs, which is what makes this multi-table format so intriguing. We'll play the first game on the Bonzini table, and we'll play the second game of each match on the Fireball table. The third game will be divided up among both tables, and really is one of the more fascinating and exciting and compelling things about this type of format.
I looked down the list of matches we got today, Jim, and firstly, the quality is amazing, but secondly, I can't see any match not going to that third and final game.
Miguel dos Santos trying to take it to a second game, and he does. So dos Santos holds on his home table. We'll move across the arena to the Fireball table, the American home table. Look at the grip here, and the shot there as he goes down the middle with that pin shot effort.
And that's the right terminology, Jim. He holds. You don't win on your home table. You hold on your own table, you win on your opponents. And that's what we've really got to get the viewers into understanding. You want to hold your home table, you want to win your game there, and then you're going to go over to your opponent and you're going to see if you can steal that match. That's where you win your match and you win your first leg for your country.
And of course, if you hold on your table and he holds on his table, we go to the third game. And then it comes down to holding on individual points. It is very compelling. I'm sure we're going to get to see it. It is very exciting, and this huge crowd of 3,000 to 5,000 people watching here at the beautiful Palais des Sports in Nantes, France. Very excited about this turn of events. Their man, Miguel dos Santos, has surged ahead early, 1-0. Ryan Moore putting it into play, has it blocked, comes back to Ryan in the goal area, and as Ben Mason described earlier on, Ryan's going to try to be aggressive and score the ball from here. And he does, as he sends that one down the middle, off a man, into the goal.
Well, I want the American viewers to appreciate and not to worry about Ryan Moore being 1-0 down. Ryan is your all-round, comfortable table soccer player. He's going to be really secure in his ability, his knowledge of what he can do. He's going to simply look to pass and score. He won't be affected by the fact he's 1-0 down. He won't be affected by the fact there's 2,500 French people here cheering for his opponent. Ryan will take his time and he'll do his things correctly. And as a result, that's why Ryan's one of the best players in the world.
A former world champion, a multi-table world champion here in Nantes, France, back in 2010. In the singles category, of course, this 4-day long weekend in Nantes, France is made up of singles, doubles, and then the always exciting World Cup team event, which is really the elite event in the world of table soccer. That ball flew up into the air and hit off the top of the table, off the score rack. So it is a dead ball, and it will be put back into play by the player in the goal area who did not shoot it. And we'll describe the rules for you as we go along. There'll be situations, and again, Ryan Moore successful from goal. It's 2-0.
The rule regarding off the table is the player who put the momentum initially into the ball is said to be the one who played it out. And of course, the ball then goes to the opposition.
Again, that one blocked, but the spin carried it off the wall and behind the defender of Miguel dos Santos. Well, the American Ryan Moore on his home table has come out to get the first two. Ryan staying aggressive. A good singles player like Ryan Moore, who is aggressive shooting the ball, can usually pick up at least 1 or 2 a game from that position. And there you see Miguel dos Santos hammering it home with his 5-rod, his midfielder, if you will. And he's cut the lead in half to 2-1. Watch the ball come in front of him. He sees it, and he slams it.
Important here also to remember that each player gets 2 timeouts per game. So we might see a timeout used here. They're used tactically. You can use them to break momentum, gain momentum, or simply to walk away from the table and gather your thoughts.
That one blocked back towards the goal by dos Santos. Ryan Moore will step back there again, looking to be offensive. Ryan has scored both of his in this second game, puts that one on goal. Great shot, and then slammed back at him by the left hand of Miguel dos Santos. And watch also, as you have this particular view here, how the players' hands go from one handle to the next, and how they always seem to know exactly where to be, whether it's the forward position, the goalie position, offense, defense. And Miguel dos Santos converts from goal. 2 in a row from dos Santos, and we're tied at 2.
Miguel dos Santos is a fantastic player, but like many of the European players, he's a momentum player. When it's going well for him, it's going very well. When it goes bad, he can tend to beat up on himself a little bit, tend to be his own worst enemy. So you watch here to see if Ryan manages to win this game, take it to a third. There might be a swing in the momentum, and that's when I'm going to have to really watch Miguel to see if he can cope with that.
Ryan was able to pass that one along the wall, but he couldn't hold on to it. And of course, what amazing circumstances to play under. Playing in front of the cameras, under the lights, with a huge crowd, reacting on every point. These top players really have become accustomed to this over the past few years, and really do thrive on it. Shot down the middle on goal by dos Santos. He's able to grab the rebound on his passing rod.
Miguel doesn't look at home for me at the moment in the passing series. He's not really advancing that ball from the 5 to the 3 to give him enough shots. I liken that to standard soccer, where if you've got a good midfield, you'll get more shots on goal.
Ryan Moore looks for the lead. And he finds it. Stroking it home off that near corner and into the goal. So Ryan back on top after Miguel dos Santos had scored the last 2. Ryan shooting the snake shot on this table after shooting the pull shot on the other. We'll show you the snake shot more and more as we go along here. But again, it's all about options from one particular set for these great shooters and great table soccer performers. Dos Santos looking to even it up at 3, and he does. The shot was blocked initially, but rattled off a man and into the goal.
A slightly a lucky goal there, Jim, with the way this ball's ricocheted in. But at the end of the day, a point is a point. It's 3-all on his away table. There we see Miguel calling a timeout. That's his first. Now, he's got 3-3 up. I think it's a great timeout because it allows Ryan to think of the seriousness of this situation. Miguel is 3-3 on Ryan's table. Ryan's 1-0 down. Let Ryan think about it. It's a very clever timeout. Let Ryan think about how severe the situation could be if he was to perhaps not get this point.
Hard to rattle these great American players, though, who are so experienced not only on the American Tour, and the American Tour dates back 30 years or so. In the late 1970s, the tournament soccer tour in the United States was worth over $1 million every year, and that was when $1 million was really $1 million.
It really was.
And because of that, a style was developed by these 40 or 50 players who were making a pretty good living playing the game, and elevated the sport to a certain strategic level that has been carried on throughout the years by American players and by international players throughout the world. Most players, to some degree, play the American style. And what happened here? That shot is not being allowed. No. The problem was
he moved his hand from the 2-rod.
He has it set in position but he has to have that left hand in position on a rod as well, and he didn't. You see it moving over. Got to that 5-row a little bit late. That shot disallowed, and what a big play this could be, Ben Mason.
What an amazing spot from Ryan Moore and from the referee, Heinz Kiesling.
Referees for the match, both from Germany, Heinz Kiesling and Franco Lupacella. Big shot here, big play here, and Ryan Moore can't connect. Left-hand effort, and we've got a jar. It'll be awarded to Ryan Moore. Now a jar, you saw there as Ryan Moore tried to catch the pass. The reaction by Miguel dos Santos, he knocked his man off the wall, creating a circumstance that didn't allow Ryan to catch it. The ball is awarded to Ryan, who will set it up and look for the lead. Ryan walks it around, try to go back to that far side, blocked and taken away by Miguel dos Santos of France.
I suppose my one tip I'm known for, and the constant mantra I live by, is TYT, take your time. If you don't take your time when you're shooting, you're more than likely to miss. Now Ryan had an opportunity there to make that 4-3, and he rushed his shot. I'd like to see Ryan take a little bit longer on this, maybe 5, 6, 7 seconds, and make the most of this possession.
And the key to that is not only does the defender then not know where you're going to shoot it, but he also doesn't know when he's going to shoot it. Really taking his time. You're trying to come back down the middle. That's a good block by Miguel dos Santos. That is a patented Ryan Moore move where he fakes to one side, then comes back down the middle. Ryan saw that Miguel dos Santos was there. Ryan able to slide back into the goal area. Picks it up. Sets it up. And it rattles that one into the goal again. That's 3 of those, but it's because he's aggressive that even if it hits off a man, it oftentimes is going to go in. Watch here. It's fast, it's hard, it's off the man and into the goal. That is a big turnaround. It could have been 4-3 in favor of dos Santos, but the illegal shot now has allowed Ryan Moore to surge ahead by a 4-3 lead.
When you hit the ball as hard as Ryan, you generate a great deal of topspin. That topspin then can often carry the ball into the goal, off a man or off a wall.
Miguel dos Santos able to hammer it home to the far side. It's match point for the Frenchman, dos Santos. This would be huge. Of course, this opening round is vital in the team's chances. You kind of get your team heading in the right direction. Dos Santos chose the right direction there as he stroked that pin shot home to the far side. And he's going to call timeout.
I was about to say, he really needs to call a timeout here. His head's gone a little bit due to the call of the foul shot. So he's gone over to his teammates to have a discussion. Interestingly enough, he's actually just walked over there. He's talking to his father, Hervé, who was behind him in that shot, just to get a little bit of encouragement, a little bit of relaxation.
We saw team captain Robert Mares there, giving his partner, his fellow American, a little word of advice. Just take it easy, relax, play your game.
Time.
Here we go, tied up at 4 here in game number 2. It is match point for Miguel dos Santos. And Ryan will step away and use a timeout. Again, realizing the importance of this situation. Let's step away. Let's think about it. Let's let Miguel dos Santos think about it a little bit.
I really like that timeout. Ryan Moore is one of the most intelligent table soccer players in the world. And that's timeout is basically saying, okay, you took one to put me off. Now here's one for you to go away and think about it again. That's a really clever timeout. Get into the head of the young man here.
Ryan Moore on the right, Miguel dos Santos on the left. Remember, it is match point for the Frenchman dos Santos. Ryan Moore, though, a great clutch player, able to brush this pass through that lane on that near side of the table. He'll set it up, looking to send this match to a third and final game. Ryan Moore takes his time. Try to come near side, wide of the goal, sent the other way by dos Santos, kept out by Moore. Ryan has scored 3 of his goals from this position. That one down the middle on goal.
Great save.
Saved by dos Santos.
Really good save. Takes a lot of nerve and a lot of skill to remain in that hole and not jump when Ryan's shooting like that. It's a very good save.
This is a huge ball. And off the outside wall and into the goal. Dos Santos converts from goal. Miguel dos Santos has given France a 1-0 lead, and the French crowd goes crazy. Watch this as he brings it over. pounds it off the outside wall into the goal. Much to the dismay of the American opening round singles player, Ryan Moore.
That's a big blow for the Americans. We can't dress it up in any other way. Ryan Moore is your power starter. He's like your first hitter in baseball. He's going out there to get it done for you, to make a statement of intent. And Ryan Moore is well known around the world as being your first player for the American team who's going to get you that win. But up steps the great Tom York. Now, there are a few players in the world that shoot with more precision, more of a relaxed arm, and more natural ability than Tom York.
Every seat in the house is filled for this classic matchup. There you see Tom York in the red. He will step to the table with his partner, Evan Stachlik, with the United States trailing 1-0 after a 2-0 win by Miguel dos Santos in that opening round. That is big for the French. No question about it. They're looking for their first ever World Cup title. And an event that is held in their home country every year. The pressure to win is so intense on this French team. And they have yet to meet expectations when it comes to claiming the World Cup title. But they are only 2 matches away from it now. Ben Mason.
And you've got to say that the third match on paper is between Tony Spraderman and Adel Youssoufi. So Tony Spraderman is one of the greatest players the world has ever known. So let's say that goes to America. So the French are really looking to win this one as well, to give themselves a 2-0 lead going into the third game. It really is poised beautifully here for the French. They win this, they only need 1 more from 3.
It's going to be Tom York and Evan Stachlik on the right side for the USA. There you see team coach Jerry Todd making sure his boys are ready to play. And on the left side of your screen in the forward position, that's Julien Lebec and his partner, Gaia Lagrange. The officials, Heinz Kiesling on the right, the official, Franco Lupacella, the timer, on the left. York and Stachlik on the right.
Come on, Tom.
Lebec and Lagrange on the left. We'll start off on the American home table of Fireball. And pressure now goes to the Americans.
Yeah, sorry. Good catch.
Yeah, I agree in some respect. However, the Americans are starting off on their home table with Tom York, who from the semi-final was simply prolific. Every time he got the ball, he shot and he scored. He was so good that I would say, although the pressure is on them because they're 1-0 down, they've got a great man in that pressure seat.
Yeah, they really do. Tom out of Tampa, Florida. Evan Stachlik from Huntington Beach, California, on the west coast of America. A city I know well. And we get this first game of this second round underway, and a fortunate pickup here for Lebec. Julien, a pin shooter, a standard pin shooter. In other words, he has a traditional grip, pins the ball between the man and the table surface, and executes to a corner or down the middle, oftentimes using fakes to get the defender off a specific hole.
One thing I want the viewers to pay real close attention to is Julien Lebec. Although he shoots very well, he cannot go very long on the fireball. It's not his home table, and he naturally doesn't go right to those corners. So, as a result, Evan Stachlik has got a little bit of a read here.
So going long, you mean that he doesn't get it real deep to the corner?
Yeah, real deep, real far, right to the edge of those goals.
All right, we're going to see it again here as a nice pickup on the 3-rod, and he'll set it up against Stachlik once again. Julien Lebec. Tried to come near side, looked like the hole was there. He did angle that just off the corner, but he does get the fortunate rebound once again, giving you that nice overhead view. Really see the way the defense moves, and then he finds the hole down the middle.
The reason he can't explode is he's just not as used to it. So what tends to happen is he sprays the ball a little bit. When we say spray, it doesn't go directly straight. It goes off at a slight angle. So if he does try to shoot long, he will hit the post as he did in the shot beforehand.
As we talked about early on, there is sometimes a bit of an unfamiliarity when you are playing on the opposing team's table. We're going to see that in the next match, certainly with Evan Stachlik, who has never played a competitive match on a Bonzini table and will play a competitive game in the next one, which makes this one for the Americans all the more important. Tom York, who is the Fireball World Champion. There are 5 World Championships held around the world each year, one on each of the 5 official tables. The Fireball World Championships were held in Taoyuan City, Taiwan last October, and Tom Yor won open singles, along with pro singles and pro doubles at that event. He is the singles champion on this table. You'll see here, he takes his time, and he goes down the middle with this shot of effort.
Play, please.
2-1 lead now for the French. Julien Lebec, who has not completed a pass yet and has not looked real comfortable on his passing rod, but has had 3 possessions, mostly due to pickups of loose balls. Tom Yor able to pass it through. He'll set it up in pull shot position. Look at the straight, the middle, or the long. Where will he go? Down the middle again.
The middle is the easiest of the holes to shoot on the pull shot. So if someone's going to leave at you for long enough, you're going to hit it.
The Americans have come back with 2 in a row on their home table to tie it up at 2. Lebec. Julien with not a lot of experience on the Fireball table. Tried to brush that pass through that near side lane. Evan Stachlik keeps it out.
Evan Stachlik scored a few goals in the last match that he played in the semi-final, so expect to see it again.
And a pass here, nicely done. Again, giving you options. Evan could have shot a long pull shot from there, a short pull shot from there, or the straight, which turned into a pass. Tom Yor looking for 3 in a row, tried to go to that near corner with a straight pull shot effort. Taken away, sent the other way by Guy Lagrange. We have to say that this game here is a must-win game for the Americans. Going down by a game and then heading over to the French table would not be a good situation for the American pair.
No, it certainly wouldn't. Guy Lagrange is a great banker of the ball. Look, see him use the outside wall, using the rebound into the goal.
Tom Yor picks it up on his passing rod and then advances it nicely down the middle, catching it with that center man on his 3-rod.
Don't move the rods, please.
The stoppage in play.
He's moving the ball. He's moving his rod behind the ball. And the rules state there is simply no reason for a man behind the ball to ever move his rods. There's just no need.
And it can be designated a distraction. You saw Heinz Kiesling very firmly make that call. Here's Yor looking for the switch in the defense and perhaps was going to try to go down the middle. Didn't really execute that shot very well, and it remains 2-2. Shot just off the corner of the goal by Lagrange and picked up by Lebec. And he is 2 out of 3 shooting the ball so far. Lebec has it blocked this time by Stachlik and gathered in by Tom Yor on his passing rod. But Lebec steals it right back. Tom rushing the pass. Tom not looking real comfortable himself. Lebec for the lead. It's 3-2. Watch this. Lebec moves it around and then simply hammers that near corner.
But have a look there again, Jim. He didn't get right out to the corner, did he? It was a short, and I think that a player of Evan Stachlik's ability and experience really should have picked up on that by now. In fact, I'm surprised Tom hasn't told him, or during a timeout, one of the other players has told him. It's obvious at the moment to me.
Big shot here for Tom Yor. Doesn't execute it, gets it back, pins it, comes back with a pull kick on goal. Blocked and comes back to Stachlik. A very uneven performance so far from Yor and Stachlik. You saw Tom not executing the shot. He does make the steal here. And can't connect on the pass. I think instead of shooting that pull kick on that last possession, as soon as Tom Yor realized he wasn't going to execute the shot, he probably should have used a timeout. Let's value those possessions. Kyle Lagrange will use one here.
As you see there, just the camera panned away, Tom Yor punching his fist on the ground. Wasn't obviously happy with his choice there. And it was very unlike Tom, because Tom is one of the most sort of composed, practical decision makers on the table.
You see the conversation here. 2 very veteran players of the American Table Soccer Tour. This is Evan Stachlik's first experience on the national team. Tom Yor has been a member of every United States team at the World Cup. That would be 6 different years, beginning with the initial one back in Hamburg, France, rather Hamburg, Germany in 2006. I don't think there's a Hamburg, France. Shot down the middle on goal by Lagrange, dug out by Stachlik. And Evan brings it across and cranks it off the outside wall. It's 3-3. That's a big play by Stachlik. Watch this as he brings it over to his near man after circling the ball and hammers it off the outside wall.
As I said, in the semi-final, Evan scored a couple of goals, some really vital points. Expect to see him do the same again now. That's one. He'll want to.
That was a big one.
Here's another opportunity for him.
Evan setting it up on that far goal line. Tries to pass it here. Knocked back towards him by Lebeck. And down the middle goes Evan. 2 in a row from Evan Stachlik. It's 4-3.
I do just get a feeling with certain players how many they'll score during a game, and Evan's shown us so far this weekend that he will usually score 2 a game, especially on their home table.
That was a nice play. He brought it across, gave a little bit of a fake, and then found the far corner. It's game point here for Tom Yor and Evan Stachlik of the USA, thanks in great part to 2 big goals by Evan Stachlik.
That'll do a great deal to calm the nerves of Tom Yor and maybe get him to shoot that pull shot like he was at the start of the match.
Shot down the middle by Lagrange, blocked, comes back to him. Gael Lagrange has possession of the ball, top of your screen in the goal area. Down the middle he goes with a shot attempt, dug out nicely and held on to by Evan Stachlik, and that's one of the things that is so vital to a good goalkeeper, is the ability to grab that ball when it comes back into your goal area. Pass attempt here. You're not there to receive it on the other end. And that one off a man into the goal. A break point here for Julien Lebec and Gael Lagrange, trying to steal a game on the Americans' home table. You'll see Lagrange got a little help about halfway down. No, he didn't. That one just curved right on through. We got a timeout down on table number 1, the Fireball table. Tied up at 4 apiece. Fans from all around the world here to watch the best table soccer players and teams in the world.
Every year, the guy on the left-hand side of the screen in the vest, he's here every year, isn't he, in the crowd? He doesn't miss it.
Yeah, the city of Nantes has really embraced this event. Or almost lost that. Fortunate to get it back. Tom really doesn't have a feel right now on his 5-row. It just isn't connecting for him. This is a man usually whose passing abilities are one of the strengths of his game. Looks a little tight out there. That one blocked back towards the goal. This would be huge for the French if they could.
Stop.
And we have a call here by Heinz Kiesling. They're going to make a jar call. Lagrange knocked that near wall, according to Heinz Kiesling, the referee.
A huge call.
And the ball has been awarded to Yor. See if Tom can relax a little bit and put a good solid shot on goal.
He looks more relaxed, Jim.
Tom Yor stops it again. This is not a typical Tom Yor performance. He is struggling out there. This is one of the world's best players, and we've got a timeout.
Now, having watched Gael Lagrange play a fair few times and understanding the way he looks at it, I don't think he's going to pass to Julien Lebec. I think he's going to be looking to use the push series, which means he'll take it from the near man and push it across the goal with an angle, or hit an outside bank.
All right, so Ben Mason has given you a couple of options. You see the wraps that the players use. They're sort of also used in racquetball or tennis. They're used to get a better grip. Oftentimes as a fashion statement.
Timeouts.
But really, it gives you that better grip, absorbs the sweat. Tom Yor readjusting his, and maybe that was the problem with that last shot. As Gael Lagrange puts it back into play. A hush has come over the arena. As French fans understanding the importance of this point, and the French able to rattle that one into the goal. It's 1-0, and the Americans now will have to face a very strong Bonzini table team. Look at that off the inside wall, and then Stachlik knocked it in with 2 of his men.
Well, I can't describe how much of a difficult situation the Americans find themselves in now. They've got to play against two of the greatest ever French players on the French Bonzini table, and they've got to get a win. They have to win this game.
However, we have seen the American Tom Yor on many occasions compete at a high level on the Bonzini table in situations just like this. And perhaps after a performance that you know Tom Yor is not pleased with, he'll come out with renewed resolve here in this game. And we're going to see what happens as this second game unfolds with the French completely, right now at least, in control of this World Cup final.
Tom, let's play, please. Stop practice. Let's play.
To the Bonzini table we go. There you see Julien Lebec and Guy Lagrange. They're on the left side. This is their home table. The Americans, Tom Yor and Evan Stachlik, on the right. Tom Yor will have the first possession on his 5-rod. He'll attempt to pass it from his 5-rod to his 3. That was a pass attempt that ended up going on goal. The Americans are in trouble, folks. Of course, you have to win 3 matches to win the World Cup. Right now, the French are 1.5 at least of the way to winning 2 matches. Here's Julien Lebec coming back down the middle. And remember, this is literally Evan Stachlik's first ever competitive game on the Bonzini table. Watch here as Lebec fakes one way, then brings the ball back the other way to strike it into the back of the goal.
And my comment earlier about how Julien Lebec can't go long on the fireball is completely removed on this table. Julien Lebec can hit every option from every point of the goal and from every position.
And another jar called here. That one went off the back wall. The ball was jarred off of the 3-rod by Guy Lagrange, who was hustling after it. Tom Yor will have possession, and he'll shoot the pull shot, which is a shot that works very well on the Bonzini table. Tom getting a set, takes a look, and strokes it down the middle. It's 1-1. Tom Yor's going to have to take advantage of every possession he gets on that 3-rod for the Americans to have a chance here in this second game.
Right.
Tom took his time and executed. That pass attempt chipped up, and here's Stachlik, and let's see what he does here. He sends it the other way, so Evan did get a pretty good shot, despite the fact that he has never played on this table. Evan has played on a lot of different tables, but the Bonzini table is quite a bit different than every other. It's a very grippy surface. It's one of the differences from some of the other tables. It's how grippy it is, the narrowness of the man's foot. Did that one go in? They're still waiting for the call. Let's look at it again. Of course, you cannot use replay to make the call. Yeah, that one did go in. Let's see if the point has been awarded. Yes, it has. So it is now 2-1 in favor of the French. As long as it crosses that goal line, it's counted as a goal. Some of you may have played in bars, and if you can grab that ball before it drops down, or if it comes out after shooting it, it doesn't count. But everything counts as long as it crosses that goal line. Another big possession here for Yor. Tom will look at the split hole, take a look at the straight. Tries to come down the middle with that split. Lagrange able to make the block up into the air and off the table, and he'll put it back into play because the ball was initiated by Tom Yor with this shot effort.
One of the big differences as well with this table as opposed to the others is quite how heavy the men are. The men and the rods, these are cast iron, whereas they are molded nylon plastic on the fireball.
And it is a big difference. And one of the keys in this sort of situation is the ability to immediately adapt to the other table. And it's not an easy thing to do. Here's Stachlik. Clears his zone, which is good for the Americans. Yor sends that one towards the goal, and then Lebec able to dig it out. Julien Lebec, Guy Lagrange up 2-1 already, and now 3-1. The Americans do have waiting in the wings one of the world's great players, Tony Spraderman, a guy who has proven himself over the years to be a clutch player, and he's going to have to be, it would appear. It seems as though the Americans are going to be down 2 matches to nothing here momentarily.
You can also be very well assured that Tony will not be overcome by the situation. In fact, I can see Tony now, he's just listening to his iPod, watching the big screen, seeing his team, how and they're doing. But Tony is fully focused on his game.
He'll be coming up shortly, competing against Adel Yousfi. Gaia Lagrange. That one blocked back into the goal by Yor. That is a big defensive play there. Let's see if the Americans can capitalize on that. As Lagrange with the shot attempt and Yor with a block.
That's odd because we normally see Gaia Lagrange executing shots from the near side, from nearer him. So he's not done what he usually does, and as a result, he's been slapped back into the goal.
This is Evan Stachlik in possession, and Evan just wants to get it out of his zone. He does. Lagrange, though, always a offensive threat from the goalie position. Lagrange shot down the middle on goal.
Great block by Evan.
And there defensively sends it the other way. Lagrange once again. That one hops in the air, rolls around, and Yor able to grab it on his passing rod. Tom able to advance it. An opportunity here for Yor to tie the game up at 3. He sets it up in full shot position, trying to stroke that ball out to the long hole.
TYT, take your time, Tom. You see there, folks? He rushed it. We know how good Tom is. We've seen him shoot well in the past, but you've got to take your time. Throwing in the odd quick one is fair enough, but I would say when you're 3-2 down and 1-0 down, just take your time and do the basics right, because Tom Yor is one of the greatest shooters of the full shot the world's ever had.
Yeah, the key for Tom there is to sit on the ball, take your time, and then explode to the hole, whether it's straight, middle, or long, making them all look identical. And he's fully capable of that, and it's one of the things that has made him one of the best players in the world. That was the ideal situation to do it, and Tom knows this. And he'll make the adjustment. But on this particular table, on the French table, Tom's not going to get as many opportunities, so he needs to take advantage of every single one. He did not take advantage of that one. This is Lagrange. Dug out here by Julien Lebec. Lebec off the back wall, comes all the way back to his partner Lagrange. Stachlik keeps it out, but can't keep it off the 3-rod of Lebec. They're going to need a stop here from Stachlik. Lebec is just such an outstanding shooter, and Stachlik does get in the way of this one.
Let's see what Evan's got here.
Reset.
Sends that one up the table. Yor couldn't grab it. Tom just so tight, it appears to me.
He's almost trying to force it a little bit, Jim.
That's right. And Lagrange forces backward into the back of the goal. It's match point for the French. Watch this. Lagrange brings it near corner. And reacts. Match point for the French. Just a goal away from taking a 2-0 lead. Gaia Lagrange. Again, same hole. And the French lead 2-0. They're 1 match away from their first ever World Cup title. A disappointed Tom Yor steps away knowing that he absolutely did not put his A game on the table in that match. But the French certainly did, and they are now within one of a historic moment in French table soccer.
Now, for you guys out there, let's summarize where we are. America 2-0 down. It's not where they wanted to be. I think they would have taken 1-1, but 2-0 certainly not. However, we refer to 2 players that drive that vehicle with the American team. One is Tony Spraderman. He is the spark plug of the American team. He gets things going. He really is that strong. And then we've got Rob Mahrez in the second doubles match. Rob Mahrez playing with Ezekiel Iceman Moore, and Rob Mahrez is the engine of that American team.
There you see the 3rd round matchup between Spraderman and Yousfi. That is Tony and Adel. If Tony Spraderman can pull it out, we'll go to a 4th round. Sebastian Zapater and Hervé dos Santos going up against Robert Mahrez and Ezekiel Moore. And if somehow the Americans pull that one out, it'd be David Vick versus Sebastian Meckes.
So as we say, we got one of the greatest players in the world, Tony Spraderman, leading off this third leg now. He's playing against Adel Yousefi, and Adel, for me, he's the best all-round multi-table player in France. So Tony's got his work cut out. Adel is a fantastic player. This game is going to be an absolutely classical match.
There you see the great American, Tony Spraderman, who is a full-time foosball player. It's what he does. It's who he is. And he is recognized around the world as not only one of the great players in the world, but also one of the sport's great ambassadors. And we're going to get a chance to see Tony in action here in this third round match in a situation where it's up to him to keep the United States' hopes alive. And as well as the United States played in the semifinal match earlier today, they have not come close to that so far in the final. Tony Spraderman, Adel Yousefi. Adel Yousefi with a chance to make French table soccer history as the American crowd looks on. There's only a handful of them. They are firmly behind their team, but their team is in trouble, and here we go. Adel Yousefi puts it into play, has it stolen away by Tony Spraderman. Spraderman, possession on the 5-rod, faked a quick shot there, and they'll try to pass it along the outside wall. Tony always uses the far side of the table to pass. That one blocked by Yousefi, sent forward by Tony. And the left foot hammered into the goal by Adel Yousefi. That big left-handed 5-rod shot. Usually you're going to pass with this rod. Yousefi slams it into the goal with that passing rod.
Adel Yousefi really is Mr. Intensity of the French team, and he can get anything done. So this is going to be a tall ask for Tony.
Tony Spraderman. Pass attempt, he can't connect. Angles towards the goal. This is Yousefi. Adel able to pick it up after putting that shot on goal. And the French with just such tremendous momentum right now. Yousefi will shoot a pull shot. Doesn't execute. Sprayed that one a little bit wide of the defense. Sent the other way by Spraderman. Can he hold on to it? No, but he'll pass it back to his 5-rod and then immediately get it back. That is brilliant table soccer right there. He knew he couldn't quite grab it, so he knocked it backwards and then immediately passed it and scored it. What a play by Tony Spraderman. That is amazing, even among the elite of table soccer, as he was able to make the save, followed up by the shot. And you'll see the snake shot that Tony Spraderman likes to shoot. He puts the wrist on the handle and flips the man over to either corner or down the middle. Of course, it must spin for a full 360-degree revolution for it to be considered a spin, which is illegal in the world of table soccer. So if you're going down to the pub tonight to play, do not spin. Spraderman now with a chance to take the lead. Tony, near side attempt, rattles off the corner of the goal. Americans trailing the French 2-0. The French have been spectacular so far. Spraderman picks this one up on his passing run. Bounces it through the lane. Nicely done.
Tony's 5-bar passing series is slightly different to everybody else.
Spraderman tried to go back to the far corner. Yousefi there defensively.
Tony likes to use a tic-tac on the far wall. A tic-tac being the sort of the noise the ball might make, as in tic-tac, tic-tac. And then he likes to advance it through on the far side to his 3-bar. Most players, of course, doing it on the near side, nearer them.
You saw the transition game of Tony Spraderman. He was just as quick as the ball in getting back there into the defensive position. And one of the things that makes a great singles player is really the ability to play almost both positions at the same time. Tony does lose it here, turns it over to Adel, who's going to shoot the snake shot this time. This is the same shot that Tony Spraderman shoots, using the wrist on the handle and then flipping it over to the corners or down the middle. But first, Adel Yousefi will call timeout.
Time.
Adel Yousefi steps back to the table. You get 2 timeouts per game, each of them 30 seconds in length. Yousefi now looks for a 2-1 lead. Tried to come near side, blocked by Spraderman, and the ball comes all the way up the table to Tony on his shooting rod. And Spraderman loses the ball back to Yusfi. Left hook attempt there. Spraderman saves it. Another save by Tony. Look at him move rod to rod. It's spectacular to watch Spraderman play the singles format. Again, slides back there to keep it out.
Watch Tony now how. Oh, I was to say watch how Tony passes now, but he went for a quick pass there. Didn't get hold of it.
Picked up by Yusfi. And knocked back into the goal by Spraderman. Yusfi tried to shoot the ball. Spraderman reacting defensively. And right now, Tony is so focused and so intense. You're not going to get that one by him.
The Americans could do with a few slices of luck, and I think that was one of them.
French did get some breaks, but you know, you make your own breaks. You make your own luck. A great man in American sports once said, luck is the residue of design. I'd add hustle as well and hard work.
Another great sportsman once said, the harder I work, the luckier I get.
That's right. Spraderman leading 2-1 here on his home table in a game that the Americans absolutely must win. They must win on their home table here. Spraderman does not want to go back to the Bonzini table, Adel Yusfi's home table, with Adel having a chance to win the overall match. Americans trying to get back into it. Spraderman sets it up and looks for a 3-1 lead. Tony will first of all step away and call timeout.
Whilst we are in this timeout, I'll take a little note to talk about the difference again in the style of table. One of the things I really like about the Fireball is their approach to the face of the men. Most table companies just simply use an anodyne face, a face that doesn't remind you anything, is not going to offend. However, the face on the Fireball man is that of Michelangelo's statue, David.
Timeouts 1-1.
Very unique and
it really
quite
is.
a nice little difference.
And I'm sure David appreciates having his face on a table soccer man. Tony Spraderman puts it back into play and strokes it home to the near corner. It's 3-1. So as expected, Tony Spraderman with a big performance, and again, quickly and firmly to that near corner. Jim Stevens and Ben Mason and Kazum Productions happy to be bringing you the 2013 World Cup of Table Soccer. I'd like to welcome everyone watching in the United States on ESPN3. Spraderman had possession of it, loses it to Yusfi, and then blocks it into the goal. Maybe that was the plan the entire time. Of course it wasn't, but again, showing that quick reaction time. Spraderman gets a man on it and knocks it right back into the goal. Spraderman has come out with a strong effort in this opening game of this third round singles match, with the French leading 2-0. Yusfi able to convert. And again, Spraderman with a question. He did not have the hand on the handle, perhaps. And we saw this call earlier. And they're going to consult. They're waiting to see perhaps if a replay, but a replay cannot overturn it. Let's see here. Adel looks back and shoots. That isn't legal. That is a distraction to do that, to take your attention away. Let's see here. Usually a referee will not.
No goal.
They're calling it a goal. Tony says, okay, let's play.
No, Adel has said fair enough, and he's taken it away. Adel himself has removed the goal.
Interesting. It's still on the scoreboard.
But Adel has moved the counter on it with his finger to 1.
Okay. So it actually is
4-1.
according to Adel. We'll have to see. It becomes a moot point if Tony scores this one as he sets it up. Looks for the hole and finds it. Tony Spraderman comes out with a strong and intense effort here in this first game of this third round match. He wins on his home table as he fakes one way, then brings it right back down the middle.
I'm not sure how many players would have done what Adel did then. Adel was in his rights because the call had been made to leave that as a goal, but that was good sportsmanship. But then again, he's playing against Tony Spraderman, and Tony is one of the most popular men in table soccer. And to be honest, You play fairly with Tony.
Tony is also one of the most honest players in table soccer, and also a guy that you don't want to get angry.
Yeah, he's that guy that the more angry you get him, the better he plays.
All right, we're going to move over to the Bonzini table. There you see France won the first 2 rounds, 2-0 in both of them. The Americans have finally won a game here in round number 3 as Spraderman wins on his home table, the Fireball, and will now move over to the Bonzini table, home table of the French and Adel Yousfi. Adel will try to win this one and take it to a 3rd and final game, which we have not seen yet. Tony trying to win it to get the Americans back into this World Cup final. They would then trail by just a 2-1 match deficit, but Adel Yousfi very, very good, of course, on his home table. Yousfi looking for the hole and then squirts it backwards inadvertently, but does get it back. And Yousfi strikes first. That one did go in and then popped out. You'll see that on the Bonzini table when you get a good, solid, firm shot into the back of the goal. Watch here. As Yousfi finds a hole down the middle and right back out.
Ready?
This is one of the few tables Tony changed his 5-bar passing series. He likes to use a near side brush pass.
Usually it is that tic-tac that Mr. Mason so eloquently described a little bit earlier on. Yousfi now looking for a 2-0 lead. He loses it backwards. Again, fortunate to get it back. Yousfi shot attempt blocked. Almost saved by Spraderman. Good hustling effort and a nice catch again by Yousfi. Adel strokes it home. Again, I believe cut that one back between the defenders of Tony Spraderman. Let's see. Adel, yes he did. Split the defenders. Tony thinks perhaps he was going to the corner and inadvertently sent it down the middle. Adel Yousfi leading 2-0 in this second game. Tony able to pass it along the near wall. Tony will shoot the snake, however. Not an easy shot to shoot on this table. Actually, it's more of a standard front pin on this effort. And Heinz Kiesling makes the call. Tony, he says, recoiled, causing the ball to leave the goal area. In other words, after the shot, Tony's follow-through apparently hit the sidewall, which allowed him to get the ball again. Heinz Kiesling, the referee, takes it away and awards it to Yousfi. That's a call you see only in Europe. In the American Tour, you will never see that call for a couple of reasons. One being perhaps the stability of the American tables in comparison. And also because they just don't believe that that's a true jar, unless it's extremely exaggerated.
Almost deliberate rather than part of the actual movement.
That's right. And Yousfi loses this one.
Both these players here, Jim, one of the other things about them is they're both very nice guys. They're both always got time off the table to spend with you, talk to you. They do a lot of coaching with the youngsters around the tournaments. They're 2 lovely guys.
And 2 great players as well. Spraderman tries to come back down the middle. He's gone back, it appears, to the snake shot. You see the grip, using the wrist. And he'll quickly call timeout before you reach that time limit of 15 seconds. There is a 15-second time limit in the goal area as well. The 5-rod, you have 10 seconds of possession time.
If you notice there, Tony didn't do the T hand signal, the timeout, because there's another way of taking a timeout in table soccer. Simply removing both hands from the table and turning your back is a timer.
Spraderman will put the ball back into play. He leads 1-0 in this 3rd round singles match. Trails 2-0 in this game, the second game. And Yousfi again there defensively. Adel will use the left hand to advance it, but he can't hold on to it. Spraderman quickly passing along the outside wall. He too loses the ball. And we'll start over with Yousfi passing down the middle successfully. Now moving into the forward position, Adel Yousfi of France loops around the ball, then passes it through that near lane and looks for a 3-0 lead. In a multi-table format, you try to hold serve, so to speak, on your home table. Perhaps you can steal a game against the opponent on their home table, but it's difficult to do. But when you get to game number 3, then all you have to do, based on the format, is to steal a ball. Because we go back and forth between the two tables, you have to win by 2 goals. And if you can steal one on the opponent's table while scoring every one on your table, you're going to come out on top.
Yeah, mathematically, you just got to steal 1. In reality, you normally have to try and get 1 or 2 because of the way the other person might score on your table also.
But not now. But not now.
Tony Spraderman having a conversation with referee Heinz Kiesling.
Not now.
Heinz says, let's play, and Adel will put it back into play. Yusfi now leads 3-0. Adel Yusfi on his home table has come back to take a 3-0 lead, and you see that one angled between the men into the goal. These players are so precise and so accurate. It does appear as though we could be headed towards that always exciting 3rd game. That deciding game that is divided up between the 2 different tables.
And it really will be nail-biting time for the Americans then.
Spraderman tried to pass, couldn't connect.
Tony not looking quite at home yet on this Bonzini table.
Does steal it away here. Spraderman tried to come to that near corner. Adel Yusfi not giving him much. Of course, Adel shoots the snake shot on the Bonzini table as well. And it's actually quite rare to see players shoot that shot on the Bonzini table. Much more common for them to shoot the standard style front pin, as we saw Julien Lebec a little earlier on, or Miguel dos Santos of France. In the United States, the 2 big shots are the pull shot that we saw with Tom Yor, or the snake shot, as we're seeing with Tony Spraderman. But shooting this particular shot, you see Tony switching to a standard grip, and he finds the back of the goal. Look at Tony's hand, how he's basically gripping it in a more traditional style, and hammers that one all the way out there. Nice play by Tony.
I'd like to see Tony stick with that. He seems more at home with that traditional European front pin.
The question would be whether he has the options to go along with that push side. Adel Yusfi looking to regain the 3-goal lead. Loses it, but it's going to spin back to him. Yusfi again. Catches a break with that ball coming back to him. But then Tony able to grab it and stroke it into the goal. It's 3-2. Tony,
Huge grab, huge shot. Top work, and that's the transition game, Jim, we spoke about. Look how fast he moves here. That transition game has got in this goal.
Gets the hand back there and slams it into that near side. Great play by Spraderman. Took advantage of a loss of possession by Adel Yusfi to get himself back within 1, and he steals it away here. And passing it nicely along the near wall. Spraderman now, let's see which shot he goes with. He's going to shoot the traditional. Loses it, gets it back, resets, and quickly calls timeout. Tony Spraderman, the intense, the energetic, the talented player from the United States, trying to get the U.S. back into it. Trails 3-2 here in the 2nd game. He's got a chance to tie it up on the French table, as he will set it up once again in pin shot position. And stroke it home to the far side. Tony really does execute that particular shot very well. Gets it out there very deeply on both of these possessions. Look at that. It's 3-3.
He explodes, and it is so deep, Jim, and he gets back around the ball to make sure it goes in the goal square. No spray, perfect execution.
Spraderman has made a nice comeback here, and again, Yusfi loses the grip of the ball. Spraderman has it. Tony tried to angle that pass towards his 3-rod, and then Yusfi again loses it.
That was really surprising.
But Tony does here. Really look at the straight. Adel has to overplay the far side, so Tony goes to the near side. It's match point for Tony Spraderman.
Huge execution. Look at this. Look how deep he goes from this time to the near side. That's excellent.
Tony Spraderman switches shots to a front pin, a standard front pin, and has really turned this second game around. But Adel Yusfi with a chance to tie it up at 4. Adel looks like he's going to shoot the pull shot. Tries to go to that long hole, stabbed back towards the goal by Spraderman. Picked up by Yusfi with a left hand. Sent off the back wall, and a jar there. That'll be awarded to Yusfi. Tony a little aggressive as the ball rolled past him. Tony would have made that call on himself if the official Heinz Kiesling didn't. Ball will be awarded to Yusfi, who looks as though he'll set up the pull shot. If he can, and he does. And strokes it into the goal. So it's 4-4 here in game 2. It remains match point for that man there, Tony Spraderman.
Timeout finished.
Again, looking at the pull shot. That long split effort by Adel Yusfi.
Adel's taking his second and last time out of this game. And Tony further showing why he's one of the greatest players the world's ever had. He switched from a snake shot to a front pin, and he's just executed 3 very long shots.
Remains match point for Spraderman. If Adel Yusfi scores this ball, we go to a third game. If Tony can score it, we're even, or rather the Americans have pulled within 1 match, but Adel steals it and passes it, and Tony approves of it. Adel Yusfi looking to extend the match. And he does. Adel Yusfi comes back from a 4-3 deficit with a couple of big pull shots in that second game. This was the best one of the 2 as he stroked it firmly down the middle. And we head to a third game. We'll move over to the fireball table for 1 ball, then back over to Bonzini for 2, alternating 2 balls at a time until someone gets to 5, winning by 2. Otherwise, Ben Mason, we can go on forever because someone doesn't have to win by 2.
We really could be here forever. And I just think what Adel's done there, he's backwards against the wall. Tony Spraderman has come out and he's scored 3 fantastic front pins. And Adel has simply said, do you know what? Anything you can do, I can do as well. He switched to a pull shot, hammered 2 in to win his home leg, and here we are in the third game. Now, Adel is one of the best multi-table players in the world, and so is Tony. Jim, we are in for an absolute treat.
Tony Spraderman must win this third game, played on both tables to keep the American hopes alive. He'll start off with a ball on his 5-rod on his home table. They're always looking to steal a ball at this point. As a player, you're also looking to not allow a steal. To win every ball on your home table, and Tony gets his. So he scores. Head back over to Bonzini. It is treated as if it is a game, no matter what. There is no time between each ball. They head directly over to the Bonzini table for this second ball. Adel Yusfi still on the left side. Tony Spraderman on the right.
Okay. Yeah.
And Adel puts it into play. Tony Spraderman looking to get one of these 2, and he almost does there as that defensive play was stabbed back towards the goal. Picked up here by Yusfi. Tries to pass. And again, it's up to you to hold serve, so to speak, on your table. And if you do that, if both players hold serve,
We are here all night.
we're here all night and all day tomorrow and beyond. That has never happened, and I don't expect it to happen here. That shot attempt wide of the goal. Spraderman able to pick it up on his 3-row, so he's looking to get a break right here.
It's a great grab there.
He has made his last 3 shots from pin shot position. Tony, quick shot here, blocked. Comes back to him, and he's able to stroke it down the middle with the 5-row. It's 2-0 in favor of Spraderman, who does indeed get one of the 2, and that's really all you want. So it's all gravy here for Tony Spraderman.
Just to repeat the start of this match, I said Tony Spraderman is the American spark plug. He's really getting things to fire now.
He really is, and he fired that one into the back of the goal with the 5-rod this time. He's up 2-0. Tony Spraderman will pick it up here if he can. No, he can't. And then it comes back and just rolls to a dead stop on Adel Yousfi's 3-rod. An odd play that was. It looked like Tony was going to have a scoring opportunity. Instead, Adel does. Adel has been looking at that split pull shot, tries to go long here, and the rebound caroms up the table to Spraderman on his shooting rod. Tony strokes it home down the middle. This time it's 3-0. Tony gets both on the French home table. We head back to Fireball with Spraderman leading 3-0 in this decisive third game.
Yes.
Watch here as he angles this one between the defensive men.
If any of you young Americans out there need a new hero, I suggest this is your man.
Right now, he's the hero of that entire American team as he's trying to keep their hopes alive, and he's very close to cutting the French 2-0 lead in half. Adel Yousfi, of course, must have at least one of these two balls on the Fireball table to keep his hopes alive. Spraderman will look to pass. He bounces, 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 and then has it stolen away by Yousfi. Adel from snake shot position here. Strokes it home, so Adel comes back with one on Tony's table. And as much as we talk about players having advantages on their home tables, how often have we seen this where the player scores on the opponent's table? In this case, that's 3 in a row.
I want to see Tony take his time here, not rush. I speak about it all the time. Tony is such a great player. All he needs to do, relax, execute the pass, execute the shot.
There's the pass part of it. Tony looking to make it 4-1. Will first step away and call timeout, understanding just how important this particular ball is for the American hopes. Spraderman will step away, think about it, let Adel Yousfi think about it a little bit. The intensity has been extraordinary from that man right there.
10 seconds. Ready?
Spraderman will put the ball back into play. Tony, this time, of course, as you see by the grip, shooting the snake shot and shooting it well. It's match point for Tony Spraderman. What a performance by the great Spraderman as he finds the hole here to that near corner.
Stop. Sorry.
All great sportsmen have to find a time in their life to come up big and make a difference, and this really is it. His team were 2-0 down, and here we go.
Match point for Spraderman, the American.
Yeah.
Adel Yousfi able to pass this one through. Looking to cut into the lead a little bit, and again, Adel loses the ball.
Adel's really tightened up, hasn't he?
Tony Spraderman with a chance to get the Americans a win. The quick shot attempt blocked and taken away by Adel Yousfi. Yousfi sends it down the middle of the table. Spin carries it back, as it so often does, to the 3-rod of Adel Yousfi. And it's 4-2. So Yousfi cuts into the lead as he took his time beautifully and then executed to the near corner.
Ready?
Spraderman, still match point for Tony. Tony can't connect on that pass effort. Adel Yousfi begins to work the ball up the table. It's knocked down and taken away by Spraderman, who quickly tried to bank it off that back wall and catch it, but it comes back to him on the 5-rod, chips it up, can't hold on to it. Nice pass, just couldn't quite grab it. Yousfi calmly beginning to work it up the table. 2-rod to 5-rod, 5-rod to 3-rod. He'll now attempt to go 3-rod to the back of the goal and pull the French back within 1. And he does. Solid effort from that man right there on the Bonzini table as he gets both of them. We now return to the fireball table, and Tony Spraderman will have a third match point here. Really cut that one back between the defenders.
What a mature performance from Adel Yousefi there on the Bonzini, Jim.
Tony, you have one time.
I'm very impressed. Really strong resolve, real maturity, came over, just backed himself and his ability on his home table.
Tony Spraderman over the years has proved himself to be one of the great closers in the world of table soccer. He'll be on his home table with an opportunity now to close out Adel Yousefi. Adel talking with coach Hervé dos Santos. Tony Spraderman understands the situation, understands how important this first ball is, especially. If it does go to 4-4 in this third game, it then becomes a win by 2 situation. Spraderman can't connect on the pass, grabbed by Yousefi. Adel. Shot blocked back into the goal by Spraderman, and the Americans are on the scoreboard as Tony Spraderman defeats Adel Yousefi 2-1 in this third round singles match. It is now 2-1 in favor of France.
Huge victory there, Jim. I think that Tony Spraderman will remember that match for the rest of his life.
Watch here, the shot and the block.
Good night. No time for drinking.
France won the first 2 of the matches in singles and doubles by identical 2-0 scores, but thanks to Tony Spraderman, the intense American, the United States has come back and gotten back into the match with a win in that third round, 2-1. Spraderman defeating Adel Yousefi. We'll now move to the fourth round, which will be doubles. We'll get a chance to see another of the great American players, as Robert Mares of Aurora, Colorado, and Ezekiel, the Iceman Moore of Irving, Texas, will face off against Sebastien Zapater and the coach of the French team, Hervé dos Santos, in a fourth round doubles match.
Yeah, when I refer to Tony Spraderman as the spark plug of the American team, Rob Mares really is the engine. He's got the energy, the hype, and everything about him that allows him to be that great player in the American team.
There you see on the left there, Sebastien Zapater, one of the veterans of the French team. We're going to get a chance to watch Zap, as he's known, compete. Hope you're enjoying it, watching back in the United States on ESPN3. We know we are enjoying it, of course.
Okay, that's what I needed to hear.
And a big hello to all of you watching all around the world. The sport of table soccer played professionally and competitively on a major basis in more than 40 different countries. And a lot of people don't know that, Mason, but the United States, of course, with a long tradition of tournament play. In the 1970s, as we talked about earlier, the Tournament Soccer Tour offered more than $1 million a year in prize money, and that was a lot of money in 1979.
Well, the $1 Million Tour was really the thing that, for me, allowed the Americans to become the dominant nation they have in world table soccer, is because there were a group of players, 50, 60, growing to 200, now a couple of thousand players who were financially motivated to go away and practice. Not just a hobby or a pastime, but it became a sport and a profession. And I think that was the difference. And here is what you see, the product of that. People like Ron Mares and Ezekiel Iceman Moore, they're products of that generation.
They really are. They'll be going up against a couple of veterans of the French national team. Sebastien Zapater in the forward position, Hervé dos Santos in goal. There you see the great American Robert Mares in the red cap out of Aurora, Colorado. Truly one of the game's great ambassadors and great players as well. And really, I think you called him the heartbeat of the American team. And he comes back with a rolling full shot here on the Bonzini table. It's 1-0.
I've met few nicer people in my life than Rob Mares, and with more energy and more heart and soul.
Watch this as Mares brings it across and reverses direction, stroking it into that corner.
And the American team feed off that. They feed off Rob Mares and his energy and the fact that he's always got a good word to say and he's always a positive guy. And I think that really helps the team.
Mares, another possession here. Looks like Rob's shooting the pull shot. Tries to go inside, blocked and taken away by Hervé dos Santos. And I think that's smart. I think on this table, I don't think Rob is going to be able to execute a snake shot, which he will shoot over on the fireball table, and he'll shoot it well. So he's going with something much more simple. Iceman Moore. Ezekiel Iceman Moore, a UPS driver from Irving, Texas, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, who is also a professional table soccer player, and this one stroked home to the near side by Zapater. It's 1-1. Watch this as he takes it from one side of the goal, brings it across, and then cuts it back between the defenders of Moore. And the French have tied it up at 1 here on their home table. Rob Mares looking pretty comfortable on the Bonzini table. Rob, of course, with years and years of experience playing a multi-table table soccer. That shot attempt blocked and then rattles in. Americans up 2-1. Watch this. The first time it was shot, it didn't go in. The second time, it gets knocked in.
That's what you would refer to as a soft goal.
Okay.
Yes.
Hervé dos Santos will be very upset with that.
Hervé dos Santos, though, I think when defending against the pull shot is a different goalie. Against a pin shot, one of the best in the world, but he doesn't get a chance to go against many pull shots, and that one did go in as Sébastien Zapater brought that far man over, knocking it into the goal. Let's look at it again. He has it on a pin, then brings the far man over on the 3-rod and angles this one between the defenders off the post and into the goal. It's 2-2. The Americans trying to steal a game here, and this would be huge. Again, Mares showing a really nice 5 on this table. Set it up in pull shot position. He'll reset it. Clock is running, so he's got to shoot something, and he does. Gets it back. Quick pin effort. Far side up the table. Grabbed by Zap. Sébastien Zapater will set it up in traditional French front pin position. Blocked away by Moore. First time that Ezekiel Iceman Moore has competed at the World Cup for Team USA. Truly one of the most recognized faces in the world of table soccer, a beloved figure around the world, another great ambassador who really does travel internationally quite a bit to these tournaments in Europe. Key here for Iceman is just to clear the zone and get it up into the forward position. He's probably not going to score from back there, but he wants to get Robert Mares as many scoring opportunities on his 3-row as he possibly can. Of course, a foosball table made up of a single-man goalie, a 2-rod, a 5-rod in the center of the table, and then, of course, the shooting 3-rod. It's also called 3 bars or 5 bars. Also called 5 rows or 3 rows. And that one knocked into the goal by Zapater.
Well, both Sébastien Zapater and Hervé dos Santos are both fantastic forwards on this table as well. So you have the feeling that if Zapater ever dried up, we saw yesterday Hervé played up front in the quarterfinals.
And that was a very fortunate effort. That is not what Zapater intended to do. It looked as though Moore was in the right position. Unfortunately for Iceman, that one angled back to the short side. Zapater with another possession here. And it's 4-2. So the French appear as though they are going to hold on their home table unless the United States can stage a comeback here in game number 1. But again, the United States basically just trying to get to a 3rd game in each and every one of these matches.
Yeah, I think the French from here would also happily take a 3rd game in each of these matches.
And that one down the middle and into the goal by Hervé dos Santos. It's 1-0. The French now just 1 game away from the World Cup title, and will head over to the American home table, the Fireball, after this effort from goal by dos Santos.
Okay, folks, you can expect to see a very different Rob Mares here. The passing series, the shooting series, all very different.
So, France won the first 2, of course, 2-0 and 2-0. The Americans responded behind Tony Spraderman, winning match number 3, 2-1. And France has jumped ahead here, leading 1-0 in the 4th round, the doubles round, as the Americans are attempting to get to that 5th and final match if they can. So to the American home table we go, and this is where the Americans will have a big advantage. Robert Mares, an outstanding fireball player. You would think, based on history, that the Americans would win this particular game 19 out of 20 times. But you never know what's going to happen in a format like this. In a situation like this, that's shot down the middle on goal by Hervé. Here's the Iceman Moore. Pass near side. That's, of course, Hervé in the forward position here. Sébastien Zapater starting at goal on the fireball table. And you'll see this a lot, where players will play one position on one table and the other position on another. Jar called here, and the ball will be awarded to Robert Mares. Mares will put it into play and set it up. Looking to strike first here in this second game. And he does. Robert Mares shoots the snake shot and really shoots it deeply, especially to that near corner. He has given the Americans a 1-0 lead here in game 2, in a game they must win. Pass along the wall by Hervé. He's going to shoot the pin shot against Ezekiel Moore. Quick shot attempt taken away by the Iceman.
Iceman didn't fall for the fake there. It's an impressive bit of defense. Hervé threw in a fake. Iceman didn't react and was there to make the block.
Ice will set it up on that near side. Send it up the table. Dug out by Zapater. And stolen away by Mares. Robert once again will set it up in snake shot position. Quick shot attempt blocked by Zap up the table to his partner, Hervé dos Santos. And Hervé exploding to the hole. It's 1-1. Look at it again. He got it. He went with it to that near corner. You saw Iceman falling for the fake back. Mares tries to go along the wall with a pass. This time successfully along that near wall. Robert for the lead. Try to go to that far corner, rimmed it off the post. Comes back to Robert, who resets. And strokes it home to the near side. It's 2-1.
Key here is to watch the lateral speed that Robert Mares gets. It is really, really fast.
Even in slow motion, you kind of get a sense of just how fast Robert Mares is. And it really is a stroke. You might have seen him follow through in the opposite direction. That's really what you want to do. Sort of a recoil effect. It allows you to square that ball off. Hit it straight, exactly where you want to hit it with speed and power. Back comes Hervé dos Santos. Hervé relies on fakes, doesn't put this one on goal, does get the rebound on his 5-rod.
My theory about defending against fakes is simply pay no attention to the ball, pay no attention to man, and look to give shapes and try to convince them to shoot a hole you want them to shoot. If you're not looking at a fake, you can't fall for it.
That's right. We're not saying shut your eyes.
We
Just
certainly
look
are
away. And Zapater has possession of the ball and will call timeout. The United States leading 2-1 here in this second game of this 4th round doubles match as they attempt to keep their hopes alive and send it to a 5th and final match.
Rob Mares is your truly athletic table soccer player. You watch him around the table, he's very quick, like Tony in the way he gets from rod to rod, but you watch when he shoots, his whole body's involved in the motion. There's no time in which you feel that Rob isn't giving 100%.
The 5th round would be singles, and it would be the great French player Sébastien Meckes, who performed so well in the semifinal against a man appearing for the first time on the national team, but a man who won the senior championship here this weekend out of Grand Prairie, Texas, David Vick. And Mares inexplicably losing this one And there's no harm, no foul here. That ball is just going to be kept on the 3-rod by Hervé dos Santos. Referee Heinz Kiesling didn't need to make a call there, but chose to just kind of alert the players as to what he felt had transpired. Either way, Dos Santos will put it back into play, hit it off a man and into the goal. It's 2-2.
Regular viewers will know my opinion on refereeing. A good ref is a quiet ref. Only get involved when you have to get involved.
You saw that one off a man, off another man, into the goal, a break there. But when you're aggressive, as we've talked about, you're going to get those kinds of breaks. Pressure back on the Americans here, and Mares can't hold on to the pass. Hervé drops his pass as well. This is Moore. Moore, fans on that effort. Clock is running. Just has to do something with it. He's fortunate to get it back. Iceman tried to pass it along that near wall. Does clear the zone. Knocked off the inside wall. Moore again in possession. Sends it up the table quickly. Gets it into the hands of his partner Mares. Robert fortunate to get this one back as it spun back to him. And it's stolen away by Dos Santos. Hervé dos Santos.
Don't look at the fake.
And it's 3-2.
Don't look at the fake.
The French 2 goals away from the World Cup championship. Ben Mason said, don't look at the fake. And the Iceman looked at it going into the back of the goal.
Hervé has to shoot a fake series. That's his option on a fireball.
Pressure on Robert Mares. And that one blocked away and comes back to Moore. There is a tendency, of course, to tighten up in situations like this. That one sent along the near wall, and Mares couldn't grab it, and the call made. They're going to award it to Mares. They say there was a jar as Mares was trying to catch the ball. The defender on the 5-row knocked the sidewall and didn't allow Robert to catch it. But that one blocked by Zapater, comes back to Mares again. Huge ball for the Americans. And Mares strokes it home. It's 3-3. The usually unflappable Iceman screams in his partner's ear. Come on, Robert. Took it all the way out to that far corner.
There's very few people that you meet that you want to win more than Rob Mares, and he really is that type of table soccer player.
And he steals it away here. Americans trying to send this one to a 3rd and final game. That shot attempt blocked by Zapp. Again, finding the hole down the middle is Mares. It's 4-3.
The middle had been there, but the middle had been there for a couple of occasions, and it was really up to Rob to pick that then.
Americans a goal away from sending it to that multi-table game 3. Iceman Moore is looking to get it out of there. And he does, firing that one just wide of the goal, right back into his own goal. It is overall championship point for the French.
I've played with Iceman, and I think that he's a great defender, but what I'd see him do is use that bank series. He's got a great bank series, Jim. You and I have both played with and against him, and we've both seen that bank series in action. Why do you think he's not used it today?
My question is, why is he even shooting the ball at all? In my opinion, he should be clearing the ball, get it up to Robert Mares, but he made the attempt, and it wasn't a bad attempt. Went just wide of the goal, and as so often happens on this table, it went off that back wall right back into his own goal. The French are a goal away from the World Cup title. They have never been in this position. And look at that, Robert Mares with the left hook on the 5-row out of nowhere. We're tied up at a game apiece. Watch this. He put it into play and then surprised everybody with the shot from the 5. It's one game apiece. And neither of those two gentlemen saw that one coming, nor did these two gentlemen sitting up here announcing the match.
And we've watched Rob for years, and we know he's got the greatest left hook in the game, and no one expected that at that point. That's
All right, the Americans have tied this fourth round match up in 1 game apiece. We now go to a third and final game. It's multi-table. It doesn't get any better than this. We'll start off with 1 ball on the Bonzini table. What a play by Marvis.
I think there's an advantage by having the first ball on your opponent's table, Jim.
I kind of sense that too. I kind of get that same sort of feeling.
Because you can get just 1 goal, go to yours, get 2, you're 3-0 up, and you're in touching distance.
Here we go. Sebastian Zapater returning to the forward position on this table, able to chip this angle up. And really, once again, as we've talked about in these third games, it's all about holding on your table and trying to steal on the other guy's table. Sent up the table by Iceman, knocked forward, again towards the goal, kept out by Hervé, and eventually Mares grabs it on his 5-rod. Robert tried to pass it along the wall. It rolls towards the goal. Dos Santos, who is dynamic offensively back here as well, puts that one off the back wall. Iceman Moore can't keep it in his goal area. Sebastian Zapater will set it up looking for the early lead, and he gets it as he brings the man across, knocks it off a man into the goal. It's 1-0. And wait a second here. We might have a call on the recoil. Watch here. Zapater brings it across. Let's see if he hits the wall before hitting the ball. Yes, he does. That is a great call by referee Heinz Kiesling.
That's an outstanding call. That's
So
an amazing
he actually
call.
jarred that inner wall before striking the ball. What a call. What a great call by referee Heinz Kiesling. Mares can't connect on the pass. It comes back to Hervé Dos Santos. There you see Heinz Kiesling with a big call, and Mares able to pick this one up on the 3-rod.
Take your time, Rob. That's the best chance you got.
I don't think Rob's real confident at getting a good set on that full shot. Both players hustle after it. Mares grabs it again on his 3.
But once you've got that set, which you have, just sit on it.
That's right. And he strokes it down the middle. The Americans steal the first point on the French home table. And as we talked about before this opening ball, they now return to their table with a chance to go up 3-0 if they can hold on their table. Watch this as Mares just whips it down the middle.
But let's give the French credit. They've done really well. They took it to 4-4, so we know they can play on this table.
That's right. They're looking to steal 1 here if they can and basically get back to even. That ball rolls back to Iceman Moore.
Either the bank or the pass for me, Jim. No shooting. Bank or pass.
Sends that one up the table back towards the goal, kept out by the swinging leg of Mr. Moore. Iceman, shot attempt up the table. Mares tried to grab it. This is Zapater playing the goalie position on the fireball table. He plays forward on Bonzini. That shot attempt comes back the other end where it's grabbed by Moore. Boy, the pressure is just so thick.
The arm starts to tighten. The brain starts to become cloudy. These situations are men and boys.
Yeah, it's Iceman shot attempt, comes back to it. Shot down the middle by Moore. Zapater sends it the other way. Iceman keeps it out. And Moore pass along the near wall. Mares not there to retrieve it.
Good effort there.
Sebastian Zapater zigzags one up the table, and Hervé Dos Santos able to pick it up off that back wall. Chance to tie it up at 1 here.
Let's say it together, folks. Don't buy the fake.
Dos Santos fakes, and Iceman was able to stay home to make the block.
Great work there by Iceman. Really, really solid defense.
Shot on goal by Zapater, and Moore, who has done a good job defensively these last few series, retrieves it. Pass along that near wall. That also turns into a clear. Good things happen when you get that ball out of your zone and into your partner's hands, as he does here. Robert Mares for a 2-0 lead. Fakes. Tries to come down the middle. Blocked and taken away by Zapater. Zapater loses the ball, but it goes to the other end, right to his partner, Hervé Dos Santos. Dos Santos looking at an angle. Faking, and then not executing.
Top defense again by Iceman. He's coming up really big in this third game.
I think he started to relax and get used to the situation. The shot on goal by Moore. Slam dunked home by Robert Mares. It's 2-0. Let's see how much this means to these guys. Jim Stevens and British pro player and promoter Ben Mason. Happy to be here to bring you all the excitement of World Cup table soccer action. Enjoying a very competitive and compelling and dramatic match here in the finals area between France and the USA. And Iceman Moore again there to make the block. Shot just wide of the goal, comes off that back wall to Dos Santos. And again, the French need to get at least one of these, you would have to think, and they've got an opportunity to do so here. Dos Santos, a little bit of difficulty getting it right where he wants to, so he's going to step away and call timeout.
Now, it was a little bit of difficulty, but I also think there's a bit of uncertainty. He'd been shooting so well. He's obviously unnerved by the blocking of Ezekiel Iceman Moore. He knows that ice is onto him. So when he's setting it up, he was trying to look at a quick shot. Couldn't get that quick shot, and all of a sudden, his mind is clouded. So ice has forced him there to take a timeout by making those blocks.
Hervé Dos Santos will put the ball back into play after the timeout. Of course, you get 2 timeouts per game. Dos Santos taking a look. Tried to go back to that far side, went wide of the goal. The rebound caroms to him on his passing rod. He's able to advance it. And he set it up. Yes, he does. Dos Santos once again, and Iceman there once again. What a great grab on the 3-rod by Mares, who's got a chance to send the Americans into a 3-0 lead. Robert tried to go back to that far corner, taken away by Sébastien Zapater. Short side pull shot effort, stab towards the goal.
We spoke in the first match between Ryan Moore and Miguel about power and finesse games. The American team is all about a power game, and that French team is again all about finesse.
Iceman will call timeout. Two nothing lead for the Americans, and Robert Mares cannot stand still. This is one of the most energetic players you're ever going to see.
But he can't stand still anyway. Rob's always excited, but this is even worse.
He loves table soccer. He loves being in this situation.
I would say this win would mean more to Robert Mares than possibly anyone else in the American team. He is Star Spangled Banner. He is the true American.
Well, the Americans won 3 World Cup titles starting in 2009. They won in 10 and 11 as well. Last year, a disappointing 3rd place finish for the American team, at least in their eyes. And they have the resolve to come back this year and respond to that loss as Iceman puts one on goal. And give it everything they can to try to get back the World Cup title. But the French opened up this match by winning the first 2 matches. And it appears as though they were headed for what perhaps was a 3-game sweep, 3-match sweep. But the Americans have fought back. And they're now up 3-0 in this 3rd game, just 2 goals away from sending it to a 5th and final match. As we look at Robert Mares once again, the authority to that near corner.
And I'd say quite easily here, the French need both. If they only get 1 goal on this table, we go into a 5th game, Jim. That's a fact. They need both these goals.
Can't disagree with that assessment, Ben Mason. Sébastien Zapater moving back into the forward position on the Bonzini table. Hervé Dos Santos at goal. David Vick of the United States. Sébastien Mekis of France would step in next in a 5th and final match if the Americans can hold on to this lead. And Zapater able to convert. There's 1. This thing is far from over. Watch here as Zap takes his time and from a dead stop brings it all the way to that near corner. Robert Mares has a chance to get one for the U.S. here.
I want to see him take his time, Jim. Get that set, wait on it.
Comes back with that rolling pull shot. Again, I don't know that Rob is just real certain about getting a set. And that one all the way around and back and forth and eventually ends up on the 3-rod of Zapater. Iceman with a block.
What a save. That is deep. That is really deep. clearance. That's all he needs to do is clear.
He does so. Picked up here by Dos Santos. Hervey with a shot on goal, and again, Moore was there, and we're going to get a jar call, and they're going to award it to the 3-rod of Robert Morris.
Hervey's not arguing. He knows he jarred it. He tried to reel the ball back. He didn't get a piece of it, and as a result, he's happy with the call. He's not happy with the result, but he accepts the call.
Big shot here for Robert Morris. Who finds the straight hole. Match point for the Americans. We'll head back over to Fireball, with the Americans needing just one of these two to send this overall World Cup final to a 5th and final match, and a showdown between Sebastian Mekis and David Vick.
Cometh the hour, cometh the man, and for America, that man is David Vick.
Or it will be if the Americans can score one more here in this 4th round doubles match.
Okay.
Robert Morris steals it away. Match point for the Americans. That one towards the goal, kept out nicely by Zapater, who grabs the rebound. And again, Hervey Dos Santos is in the forward position on the Fireball table. He's able to pick this one up. Big shot here for Hervey, who looks to pull his team back within 2. Iceman hasn't given him anything over the last few minutes. Clock is running. You get 15 seconds.
It's got to be tight, Jim.
And he finds a hole, cutting that one back.
There was no fake there. That's the first time he shot without a fake, and he really needed to change up, and he did.
Had to do something in a hurry, and he does this. Wasn't much of a hole there. Iceman shaking his head afterwards, understanding that was a bit of a fortunate effort for Hervey. Remains match point for the Americans. And Robert Morris will call timeout.
Teammates Dan Barber, Jeff Pipkin Jr. and Tony Spraderman all looking very focused there. Sebastian Mekis not showing faith in his teammates by getting his handles and his wraps ready.
Well,
that's an odd move, Jim.
Perhaps just in case. But you're right.
You don't show that to your teammates. I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Jim Stevens along with the opinionated Ben Mason. Happy to be here to bring you all the excitement of World Cup action. It is match point for the Americans. Robert Morris has a chance here to send it to a 5th and final match. Morris tried to go down the middle, blocked and taken away by Zapater. If the French score this one, we go back to their table for 2. That ball rolling, stays in play. Angling effort again, dug out by Morris. Look for Rob to put it away here. He's pretty good at closing the deal.
Yeah, he is a proper closer.
Morris does. The Americans have come back with 2 victories in a row. And the hands, I should say the hopes of the United States are in that man right there with his back to you, David Vick, the world senior singles champion and an outstanding player. He will step to the table after that effort by Morris to face the outstanding player, Sebastian Mekis, with the World Cup title on the line. The Americans have fought back after France won the first 2 matches, 2-0 and 2-0, to win 2-1 and 2-1. And they've sent it to this 5th and final match. It will be David Vick versus Sebastian Mekis for the 2013 ITSF World Cup of Table Soccer title.
what I love from the position we're stood in here, Jim, is the fact that we can see the crowd is divided into two parts. You've got the French nationals, the people of Nantes supporting France, and then you've got the table football teams from around the world who competed, who have decided they're going to support the Americans because they need more voices. You've got the Kuwaitis, you've got the Canadians, you've got Australians, the Great Brits, you've got Luxembourg. You've got all the nations supporting America because they feel the French have got enough local support.
The man in the ITSF so start, but the camera is not here.
Earlier today in the semifinals, in a match that Ben and I covered early this morning, Sébastien Meckes of France, in this same position, played extraordinary table soccer in winning the match for Team France and getting him into this position. He will now face off against David Vick of the United States, who is playing for Team USA for the first time ever. And what a situation to throw this man into. But he is capable. He is an outstanding fireball table player, and he has put in a lot of time in preparation for this event, Ben Mason, practicing on the Bonzini table as well. Almost as if he knew that this was going to happen.
Well, before the tournament started, I spent a bit of time with Tony Spraderman, a little bit of time with Rob Mahrez, and a little bit with Dave Vick, and they were saying that what they've done is this year they're looking to make sure that each of the players have got table time on another table that becomes somewhat of a second table expert. And that's what I think Dave Vick has been entrusted to do. He's been entrusted to go away and become a second table expert on Bonzini. Shooting the pool shot as he does, it does transfer more easily maybe to the Bonzini than the stake of Ryan Moore or Rob Mahrez.
We'll find out. That's David Vick, the American out of Grand Prairie, Texas, on the right side of your screen, and on the left, the veteran player from France, Sébastien Meckes. And we are underway, getting started on the Bonzini table. David Vick will have the first scoring opportunity. And David does have a really good pull shot. Vick setting it up in pull shot position if he can, and he does. Tries to come down the middle, and Meckes anticipating that was there to make the block. We've had a chance to really get to know David Vick very well. This is a player who competed on the American tour in the 1980s and then took about 20 years off from the sport. Came back about 5 years ago and has redeveloped himself into a top player. Right now he is a top 10 or 20 player in the United States on that tour. As we say, however, a first time ever competing for Team USA.
Yeah, Dave was part of the $1 Million Tour days. He's been there and done that, and he's returned since then, and he's once again one of the top players.
Watch this as Meckes able to convert on his first possession by going to the far corner. David Vick, and again, it's all about winning on your home table. Nice pass and grab here by Vick. The Americans know putting David Vick in this position was a little bit of a risk. Perhaps they thought they could come out with their big guns and win early and not get here, but I think they also trust David. They know his demeanor. They know the fact that he has put in a lot of table time on the Bonzini table.
He's such a fighter, David Vick. He's affectionately known in the US as the Chuck Norris of foosball. So he really is that type of fellow where he's got that demeanor and that type of strength.
Chuck Norris type strength.
He doesn't ever want to lose.
That shot to the near side, blocked and taken away by Vick. David's angling effort up the table. He then jumps into the forward position to grab the rebound.
He really looks at home on this table.
I don't see nerves at all on the part of David Vick, but he is going up against such a high-quality player in Sébastien Meckes. Needs to take advantage of each and every one of these possessions. Stubbs here, gets it back, and a time call. So the fact that he missed the shot the first time, and it took him a while to set it up, 15 seconds ticked by, and the call was made by referee Heinz Kiesling and timer Franco Lupacella. Vick can't save it. Stabbed towards the goal by Meckes. Sebastian can't hold on to the pass. Vick able to get another possession here. He is getting possessions. See that ball roll away. Not easy all the time to set up a pull shot on this table. He's going to set up a pin shot instead. Tries to come down the middle, blocked and taken away by Mekis.
The audience had its absolute quietest so far this whole fixture. This grand final really has the crowd completely gripped.
David Vick loses the ball to Mekis. Sebastian tried to come near side, and calmly Vick takes it away. David Vick trying to shoot the pin shot from goal, gets it back, sends it to the near side, retrieved by Mekis. A bit of a lull in the action here, and I think everybody, because of the intensity of the last couple of matches, kind of glad to be able to stay in their seat for a few minutes and take a few deep breaths and get prepared for what could be a great deal of excitement here in these next few minutes. Vick tried to stroke it to the long hole, went wide.
But on a positive note, he got that set there. He got the good set, so he now knows that isn't a problem. He can do that.
Steals it away here. Now the key on this table with a pull shot is to go down the middle. You take your time. You've already established you can go straight and long, or are willing to. That split hole will open up at some point, but it's taking him a long time to set it up. Tries to go straight, gets it back. Don't abandon the pull shot if you're David Vick. Go ahead and keep shooting it. Just remember what the key on this table is. It's just taking him a long time to get it set, and David's going to call timeout. We'll have a quick talk with Coach Rob Mares and Tom Yor, of course, who is another one of the world's great pull shooters. Sebastian Mekis staying focused as he always does. This is a player of great mental strength. Proved that to us earlier on in the semifinals with an extraordinary performance in that fifth and final round.
Time.
Ready?
Cut the tension with a knife in the arena. Gets a very good set here, although it begins to roll away from him. Back with a rolling pull shot, banks off the back wall to Mekis. Right now, Vick having difficulty getting a good set, and I think that's part of the problem. And Mekis makes it 2-0. Sebastian Mekis, if he gets opportunities, he's going to take advantage of them. You saw him fake one way. Vick followed it, which opened up that far side of the goal, Ben Mason. We talked about that early on. Falling for the fakes against a great pin shooter can be dangerous.
But the problem with Mekis is he can shoot off a fake series, off a standard series, so he really has all the options.
Stop.
And the jar called
First
here.
char.
And again, the other thing you need to remember as a player, and Mekis certainly so far looking good in this respect, is to win on your home table and try to get to that third game where anything can happen. The Americans have been pulled out the last two third games. That one wide of the goal, right back to Mekis on the 3-rod. Sebastian in control here on his home table, and he now leads 3-0.
Yeah, I think you're right. The Americans do not need to be concerned about this leg. What they need to be concerned about is winning the fireball leg and then getting 1 or 2 goals on the Bonzini in the third game.
See that quick angling effort, catching Vick a little bit flat-footed. David Vick has never been in this situation. He has never played for Team USA in front of the cameras in the big finals area with this many people watching. He seems to be handling it well. He just has not broken the ice yet with a score. Until now, as he finds the straight hole.
Try to imagine it, folks. Try to imagine doing your sport, the sport you love to play, in front of 2,500 people, of which 2,000 people are supporting your opposition. A lot of pressure.
Especially if you've never played in a situation like this. They throw you into the 5th leg of the final with the hopes of your entire nation and team, of course, riding on your performance. Great deal of pressure on David Vick, no question about it. Sebastian Mekis has been here before. You can expect to get a good quality product from Sebastian Mekis. That one did go in. It's now 4-1.
Especially knowing David Vick, which David Vick will, that the American nation are watching on ESPN3.
Yes, they are. And hopefully enjoying this first ever live broadcast of the World Cup.
Ready?
Yes.
4-1 lead for Mekas. It'll be up to David Vick, apparently, to hold on his home table. Of course, Sebastian Mekas, undoubtedly being the great multi-table player he is, can also play pretty well on the fireball. We'll see. We have not had a chance to see Mekas on the fireball yet.
I think David Vick will just be glad to go to a table where the ball rolls straight.
And again, the straight attempt here is successful by Vick. It's 4-2. So that's got to be a confidence builder there. Certainly if we go to a third game, David Vick now knows he can score against Sebastian Mekas. Of course, Mekas, just such a good, high-quality player and just so tough-minded. Vick trying to rush it there with a 5-row shooting effort. Getting back to Mekas on his 3-rod, and he's going to call timeout. The International Table Soccer Federation and Kazum Productions are bringing you the 2013 ITSF World Cup of Table Soccer from Nantes, France. I'm Jim Stevens, along with Ben Mason. Happy to be here to bring you all the exciting action of this spectacular event here in Nantes. Chance to put away game number 1 here, and he does. So Sebastian Mekas, as expected, comes out and wins game number 1 on his home table. Well, let's head over to the other side of the arena to the fireball table after this effort here from Mekas. It's the 5th and final match. France has surged ahead 1-0 in what has been a very compelling and dramatic affair here in the finals area at the Palais des Sports in Nantes, France. France jumped ahead by winning the first 4 games, the first 2 matches of this World Cup final. The Americans fought back behind the efforts of Tony Spraderman and then Robert Mares and Ezekiel Moore to send it to match number 5. David Vick carrying the American flag. It's Sebastian Mekas for France. And we move now to the American table. David Vick obviously must win this game and send it to a third final game.
Absolutely.
To keep the hopes of America alive, and he's able to rush it through the lane on that near side here. Gets a good set. Tries to go to the straight hole.
Absolutely no emotion on Dave Vick's face. He's so in the zone.
Gets it back, resets, again goes to the straight hole. That's 4 straights in a row that David Vick has attempted, and he is really establishing that. And Mekas able to score from goal. It's 2-0, so 2 great blocks by Mekas on that straight attempt, followed by a shot from his 2-rod. He has surged ahead on the American table 1-0. Vick, again, able to brush it through. He's got an outstanding 5-rod passing rod on the fireball table. Now he's been working the straight. Tries to stroke the long here. Mekas was looking for it, made the block.
Great grab there by Dave.
David Vick, one of the things he does really well is pick up loose balls. It gets him extra possessions every game. He's able to stroke this one into the goal. And hold on, they may take this one away on the follow-through, on the recoil. Let's see. Look at it again as Vick pulls it over. Let's see if the man hits the wall first.
No.
A lot of table movement there, but I have to think that shot has to be allowed. That man did not even hit the ball, did it?
No, it didn't.
Yes.
That is a bizarre call. The American bench really unhappy with that.
So the point has been taken away, and then Mekas off the outside wall into the goal. It's 2-0.
Yeah, you've got to feel sorry here for David Vick. He's leveled it up at 1-1 with a perfectly legal goal, and for some unknown reason, the referee's called that as a jar.
Bit of a fortunate effort here for Mekas. He tried the shot off the man and then off the outside wall. Vick just couldn't get the left hand back there quick enough.
All right, that's so tough break for David Vick, but he's a strong character. We know his personality. He will come back.
David Vick, biggest shot of his career right here. And that one wide of the goal. 2-0 lead for Mekas. The French, if they win this game, are the champs. Knocked off the back wall. Mekas couldn't grab it. David Vick does. Vic surveying and then sends it forward, comes back towards him.
Great save.
Left hand keeps it out.
Mekes must stand with his feet closer together than any table soccer player I've ever seen.
Vic having some trouble with it, gets it back. Again, off the outside wall towards the goal. The clock, of course, was running. Mekes takes a deep breath, steps back into offensive position and puts that one on goal. Rebound comes right back to Vic on his 3-rod. David Vic. Executes the straight. It's 2-1.
The straight is the right choice. A lot of the time Mekes is bobbing on and off it, so if you can time that straight, it certainly is there.
There you see he shows it. Doesn't take it away.
Okay.
I think Mekes has got to stop leaving the straight. I think Dave Vic will time him over and over and over again.
And that one lost backwards. Vic couldn't grab it. Mekes does. And Mekes will probably use a timeout here. No, that one blocked right back at him. Clock was running. Mekes was right up against it.
Tried an attempted slingshot at this stage of the match.
And a shot down the middle into the goal by Mekes. It's 3-1.
Great opportunity for a timeout now if you're Dave Vic.
That one curved kind of back to that short hole. The French 2 goals away from the title.
Would you be taking a timeout here, Jim? I think I would if I was Dave. I'd like to return to my team and break the momentum of Sebastian Mekes.
Pass attempt by Vic goes on goal. Picked off here by Mekes, who is in control on Vic's home table. And David Vic absolutely needs this one. And he gets it, stroking home that long pull shot. Really got that one out. This is the longest pull shot we've seen all week, folks. Watch him get this thing way out.
When you should stop,
Real deep, real firm.
It's 3-2. And what's going on with Kiesling now?
The table. Then it's your second chance, okay? You had one chance on Boncini. Okay. Be careful. Play.
Some sort of warning from Heinz Kiesling, and the French are going to call a timeout.
You clearly push.
And I think David Vic looking for clarification.
Kiesling is just getting far too involved. You're the referee, and just sometimes you got to take a step back and realize it's not about you, it's about the players.
10 seconds.
Sebastian Mekes leading 3-2 here in this second game.
Don't move the ball during a timeout. Don't move the ball during a timeout. I'm
Again,
sorry.
Kiesling.
Don't move the
And
ball during a timeout.
Now, for some reason, the ball is going to be awarded
It's not okay. Sorry,
to
it's hard,
David
but
Vic
not okay.
on the 5-rod. All right, so Heinz Kiesling apparently saw something he didn't like and has made a call. I can't imagine what it is unless somehow Mekes put the ball into play illegally, but it's been awarded. Ooh, somehow Mekes kept that one out. That ball was headed in. Mekes got the left hand back there just in time. Sends that one on goal. Flipped over towards the goal. Vic can't grab it with his 3-rod. This is Mekes again, who has been effective shooting the ball from goal. Sometimes when your opponent is shooting well from the goalie position, you get back there defensively completely and let him go ahead and try to shoot on you while you're back there. David Vic staying in the forward position defensively. And turns it over.
That's a really good block by Mekes. That is such a big play.
Mekes steals it. Will set it up. Quick shot attempt taken back by Vic.
Again, applies to everybody. Take your time. Sebastian's been waiting on the ball and shooting well.
Vic. I believe is going to call a timeout.
No, this is not moving. This is not moving.
And I think maybe that's the call that was made previously. The ball has to be stopped for you to call a timeout. You saw Sebastian asking referee Heinz Kiesling if that ball was stopped when David Vic made his timeout call. Perhaps that's what happened to Mekes on the previous possession.
The ball has to be deemed to be under control, and I think Heinz is maybe feeling the ball wasn't. let's hope all these calls that Heinz Kiesling's on an open plan tariff.
Put back into play by Vic. Shot attempt taken right back by Mekis. Sebastian Mekis tries to go straight, taken away by Vic. Boy, the intensity, the nerves, there's so much at stake here, folks, for these players from around the world, in this case, the USA and France, and that one off a man, off the outside wall and into the goal. David Vic, with 2 in a row, makes it 3-3.
Good, so, but perhaps the next not.
See there, the bank actually cleanly executed all the way down.
Only for your information.
3-3.
We saw in the semi-final, Mekes conceded several banks himself.
Coming back here, Mekis able to stroke it home with the 5-row. Mekis sees the hole and puts it in.
We know that Mekes is susceptible to conceding that bank. We saw him concede a couple in the semi-final, so it is a legitimate shot to use against him.
It is overall championship point for Team France. David Vic will put the ball into play. The hopes of America resting on this ball. Vic brushes that one into the goal. That's a break for the Americans. It's now 4-4. They still need this next one in order to extend the match. You see the pass, and that one angled in. We're tied at 4. Ball in possession, however, of Sebastian Mekis. And if I'm David Vic, I've got a left hand back there in the goal area defensively.
Yeah, definitely.
Why does he not? Again, that same play, and David Vic, because he's so firmly planted in the forward position, couldn't grab it. Sebastian Mekis with a chance to win the World Cup for France. As he sets it up, strokes the pole, shot blocked and taken away by Vic. That one rolled across the mouth of the goal. Got a question here.
Yes,
and apparently a jar. Does Kiesling know what he wants to call here?
I think he wants to call his mum at the moment. I think he's got far too confused, made too many calls, and yeah, there is a jar by Mekes, that's right, but...
All right, so the ball awarded to the 5-rod of David Vic. Vic needs this one to extend the match to a final game. And that one sent forward towards the goal. Look out here. And again, you got to be thinking defense. David Vic too firmly planted in that forward position.
He's susceptible to the quick play, isn't he?
Shot attempt blocked away by Vic. Mekis strokes that one off the corner of the goal. Picked up by Vic on the 5-row.
Dave Vic is very confident with his zone. That's the only thing we can assume here.
Rushes it up and a chance to extend it to a third and final game here for David Vic, who sets it up in pole shot position. Tried to go to the straight hole, taken away by Mekis, who sends it the other way, and we got to stop. A call here made by Kiesling. What's the call? Who's he calling the jar on?
5, yes, and it's your second chance.
Calling it on Vic.
And that's 2 jars apiece. So they're both now on a jar technical warning.
Third jar could be a technical. Vic does not have the man back there, and he pays for it. Team France is the 2013 Table Soccer World Cup champions as they defeat the United States 3 matches to 2. And the French have finally broken through after 6 appearances in the World Cup. They are the champions.
And deserved champions, Jim Stevens. They've been absolutely fantastic throughout the tournament and in the individual and double events as well throughout the weekend. So who can argue with these champions this weekend?
The United States, after a 3rd place finish last year, does improve and finish 2nd here, but it's the French sending their best team ever to the World Cup, and it pays off for them as they defeat the USA in this World Cup final. and are crowned ITSF World Cup champions here in 2013. Great performance by the French, beginning in the very first round with Miguel dos Santos, who got them off to a great start. And you see, the Americans came back in rounds 3 and 4, but it was the great performance in that 5th and final round by Sébastien Meques that gives the French the victory. Exciting match, Ben Mason. Dramatic, compelling in many ways, showing the world the sport of table soccer perhaps as they've never seen it before. Showing you that, indeed, table soccer is not just a tavern game. It's not just a game you play down at the corner bar. It's a sport, and it's a great one.
I hope you guys have enjoyed watching as much as Jim and I have enjoyed commentating.
For Ben Mason, I'm Jim Stevens. And we'll see you, Fusen.